I already know this video finna be mad short. Anyways, this anime was actually made by the same person that made Konosuba, and this is actually my second time watching this anime as well. I don't remember how I didn't catch any of the references, but there was like hella references in this, and I'm finna make hella comparisons. If y'all don't know me already, I've been said this. Konosuba is in my top 3 isekai, and it's in my top 5 comedies of all time. You can argue with a brick wall, that is just factual. Let's just get straight to it though. Our MC right here works for an evil organization, and in the first episode they ended up taking over the whole world already. But not being content with just having Earth, they ended up sending him to another world to conquer it as well. And they also sent this android named Atlas along with him. Sounds all cool, sounds like you're pretty average, start up to an anime. But if you know the author, you know these isekais are never normal. As soon as they got into this world, they ended up getting picked up by this girl named Snow. And here's going to be our first comparison for today. She's pretty much just like Aqua. I mean, their names are literally related. Aqua, Snow, Water, Ice, Snow. You understand what I'm piecing together. They both H2O. It ain't just their names that are the same though. Their personalities are quite alike as well. Only thing that's different is instead of her being a goddess, she's just a knight. Obviously, after Snow picks them up, she ends up bringing them back to her kingdom. But again, I'm gonna repeat it, she's just like Aqua. And she is not bringing them home for the right reasons. She thought by bringing these powerful looking foreigners home, she can make them her underlings just to make herself look better. But comparison number 101, just like Aqua, everything she does usually ends up falling back on her. Because like your usual isekai protags, MC and Alice kind of just walk through the kingdom and fix a major issue within the few minutes that they've been there. And then boom, just like that, the two of them got placed on a higher rank than Snow, making her look equally stupid. Anyways, during that whole little comparison arc I was giving, there was some pretty basic information dropped in between. Basically, like every other isekai, they got the Demon King doing their demon evil shit, and now that MC became a knight, he's kind of like expected to deal with the demon shit, fight against the evil forces and all that. So MC, Alice, Snow, they ended up all forming a team, and they also ended up recruiting 2 more members, which was kind of weird to me pacing wise. Generally, when you think of like teams in anime or whatever, especially isekai, usually they gain their team members by, story progression and shit, but they kind of got like they full squad on episode 2. I mean, nothing's wrong with it. It just threw me off a little bit when I'm just so used to MC going in a dungeon, saving this girl in a dungeon that's supposed to be like a half demon or whatever, and then she joins the squad or some shit, Anyways, they got a Megumi clone named Rose, and then a crippled mage called Grim, who is honestly just a comedy relief character. Now they fighted the Demon King and all that, wars, fights, all that. You see, there's no point in making too much highlights on the combat. On the battlefield, they ended up running into one of the demon generals called the Elite Four. Well, she's not called the Elite Four. She's part of the Elite Four. I don't know why I worded it like that. That was stupid. Anyways, I'm finna make another Konosuba comparison. Our MC also resembles Kazuma quite a bit, but he kind of has like a lot less self-respect, or maybe self-awareness, or maybe dignity. I don't know. Kazuma's pretty bad as well. This dude is worse though. So, they ran into a demon general or whatever, but instead of the usual fighting that they would do, he had Grim put a curse on her that would temporarily paralyze her. And I'm gonna just have to freeze the frame right here, because I'm sure with the context clues, you can probably piece together what's gonna go on. I mean, we got a dude who's worse than Kazuma, and then someone who's paralyzed in front of him. Let's just say that he put her through a lot of shame, making the demons opt out and run away. And that's really the type of shit that you can expect from this, which is also why I said this vid's finna be hella short, because not a damn thing gets taken serious here. Because just a few episodes later, he somehow accidentally started a war between 2 kingdoms. The context doesn't really matter, but he ended up getting sent on this little fetch quest trying to talk with some people for some negotiations on resources or whatever, yada yada. But somehow they ended up with him unzipping his pants and laying that shit out on top of a king's head. Sorry, I can't be too specific here, but those actions respectfully started a war. I mean, let it lay his shit on my head, pause, but I can't let that to live after that. But you know, since MC kind of started this war to kind of atone for what they did, they ended up getting sent out to some ruins to get this powerful weapon that'll help them win this war. But to MC's luck, guess who also was at this ruins at the same time? That same general MC just disrespected a second ago, alongside this prick. But instead of going round 2 with the embarrassment, MC decides to do something a little more scummy than the last thing he did. He ended up following behind the 2 demons, letting them do all the fighting for him as he sits behind, watching them struggle as they clear the dungeon out for him. And just as they hit the final room, MC hits them with a sneak attack, just preparing to snatch up all the gains for himself after they did all the work for him. It really reminds you that he is still part of the criminal org that took over Earth. You know, he kind of got sent to this land to, you know, conquer it, take it over, yada yada, for his people back home. But I'm gonna be honest, he really doesn't do much of that. He is still evil though. His actions right here kind of proves it. They wasn't even on no funny shit either. They ended up having to take that other demon general hostage, and they made the kid unlock the treasure because they didn't know how to. Which actually kind of ended up backfiring because the kid just got to get access to a fucking mecha. And this is totally off topic, but I genuinely hate kids in anime because 9 times out of 10, they end up becoming some stuck up motherfucker as soon as they get any inch of power. And they always follow that same cliche. There was actually a joke in this anime making fun of that cliche, and I love Black Lagoon, but I low-key think I want to blame them for this shit because I remember they had them twins and they are the perfect example for what I'm talking about, and I feel like they low-key started that trend. I was low-key glad when what's her name? What was the Russian called? You know, like the big boss lady, whatever. I was low-key glad when she shot on them. Now, thankfully, MC and them was able to bring out their own little kaiju, and they stomped on this piece of shit. And boom, they saved the day, even though they're like kind of the villains and they kind of rushed in and stole it from them. And they were just kind of fighting back and defending themselves. But they saved the day. And afterwards, they bullied the kid. Anyways, that was actually just the end of the anime. Very anticlimactic. But when you got a show when dude's literally just unzipping his pants and laying it out on people's heads, you can't expect too much plot to be in it. Really just a comedy. You already know what's up. I honestly feel like rewatching Konosuba after this. Now that I think about it, they did just drop some special episodes recently, didn't they? I never watched them, but I'm pretty sure Konosuba is like 4 seasons deep with a movie, maybe 2 movies, and then an OVA and a special or a spinoff. So I'm gonna have to hold on that for now because if I watch it, I'm gonna have to watch all that, and you know, that's gonna take me a minute, so I'll hold off on that for a second. I just want to say my boy Natsume go with this shit. I can't lie.